Hi guys, let's talk about bearings again. Discussed last time about why this bearing on the left failed due to water damage in a hub that really should never fail. These are very high quality bearings. This is a different type of hub, completely different design, where this bearing has failed for a completely different reason. For a start, this is a larger bearing to save money. It's a 6903 versus the 6902 here. And consequently, because it's not such a higher spec wheel, the the designer and the manufacturer have put larger bearings in, which in theory should be stronger, but in fact they're cheaper bearings. And this axle setup doesn't protect the axle against side loads, so consequently you've got more load on the side of the bearing, which is where you don't want the load on these wheel bearings. And this bearing has not failed because of water damage, it's failed because of side loads and the fact it's a relatively cheap bearing. So what we'll do is we'll put in a proper race bearing in here, 6903, very high spec bearing, and it will pretty much last forever, and it'll be a lot faster. Major upgrade for this wheel. But it's interesting as well, the top spec DT Swiss wheels actually have 6802 bearings, which are even smaller than the 6902s, because they're just very high spec bearings, and they're operating well within load limits. But as I say, the bearings really have to be very high quality because they fail statistically. In other words, they fail on a distribution curve, so the tolerances are absolutely critical. So basically, well looked after bearings, quality bearings, last forever, as long as you don't get water in them, as long as the hub design is correct. So anyway, I'm not going to say what type of hub this is, but it's a pretty good spec wheel, but it's not quite the sort of quality of wheel that we would normally do our work on. But it's well worth getting this wheel flying, because it's good enough for the road. It's not particularly strong, but it's good enough for the road. Anyway, enjoy. Cheers guys.